For somebody who tried so hard not to get caught, Luigi Mangione seemed to have wanted the whole world to know who killed the CEO of UnitedHealthcare last December, and it seems he wanted us to know why. Just after he was arrested, we got a small taste of Mangione's grievances when we found out about that notebook that he kept in his backpack, and a few lines were leaked to the media. You know, like, these parasites had it coming. That was one that really stuck out. But now comes a court filing from the Manhattan DA unloading chapter and verse of what they say is Mangione's twisted rationale for Brian Thompson's murder, and why Mangione decided against mass murder instead. The filing indicates that last August, Luigi wrote, and I quote, "I don't feel any doubt about whether it's right/justified. I'm glad in a way that I've procrastinated because it allowed me to learn more about UHC." Presumably that's UnitedHealthcare. The DA says Luigi continues, "The target is insurance. It checks every box." And they say in October, Luigi wrote this, quote, "This investor conference is a true windfall. It embodies everything with our health system, and most importantly, the message becomes self-evident." Luigi apparently spent a lot of time thinking about the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, as well. He considered Kaczynski a failure because, quote, "Normies categorize him as an insane serial killer, focus on the act/atrocities themselves, and dismiss his ideas. And most importantly, by committing indiscriminate atrocities, he became a monster, which makes his ideas that of a monster." I could keep going, but I want to stop here and bring in Erik Uebelacker, a New York reporter for Courthouse News Service. Erik, thanks so much for being on. How did these notes actually become so public?
Well, as you alluded to, these notes were kind of leaked to the press in the weeks prior, and prosecutors also put them in some of their court filings to kind of make their case. But this is the first time that we've seen the notes seemingly in Luigi's handwriting, is what the prosecutors are telling us, all together, as you just showed on the screen. And the reason that they brought those out now is because Luigi's defense attorneys recently made a motion to dismiss his terrorism charges. So this was kind of a rebuttal to that. The DA wanted to make sure that we knew exactly what Luigi's goals were. Again, I want to be very careful, allegedly, assuming that he is the one who pulled the trigger on that day in December. And some of those quotes that you just pulled up on the screen seemingly make their case for them.
Well, let's read another one, because I got to be honest, the one I'm about to read I think is the most damning for him. It says, and again, this is from the Red Spiral notebook, it says, quote, "What do? You whack the CEO at the annual parasitic bean counter convention." And to this I say, if I'm the lawyer, I don't know what the strategy is other than to please, please, please try to get this suppressed so that the jury never sees it.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting because you brought up the Unabomber just now, and I believe that the Luigi's defense attorneys are actually going to use a lot of what's in these notebooks to try to prove their case as well, because there is a section in the notebook where he explicitly says he does not want to be a terrorist. He said basically bombs are no good, and then he writes bombs equal terrorism. So I think that that's going to be a pretty interesting argument that his lawyers can make against the terrorism charges. Of course, he's also facing federal charges. That's what he's up for the death penalty for. Those don't have any element of terrorism to them at all. He's charged in that case with stalking Brian Thompson, shooting him with a firearm. So it doesn't seem like these notebooks are going to help him out in that way at all. But they could use, you know, a quote like that to make their case in the state case.
So about the terrorism piece, there's something about a target in Maryland that alludes to catastrophe. Can you, elaborate on that and tell me what that piece is all about?
Well, there was a lot in the notebooks about him planning exactly who he should go after and for what reason. As you just mentioned on the screen just now, he said that healthcare and health insurance specifically ticks all the boxes. He wanted to do something that he thought would be for the greater good. That's why, he mentions that these parasites had it coming. He says that this United healthcare investor conference where Mr. Thompson was targeted, quote, embodies everything wrong with our health system. And that's why he makes the reference to wanting to whack the CEO. And the whack part went viral because, you know, Luigi, he's Italian. People had a lot of fun with that. So that's something that we've seen for weeks now. But, you know, we really got into kind of the deeper parts of the journal here.
Tell me, what's the catastrophe part? Was he planning like something much bigger that would involve a lot of people, allegedly? Was there something in the notebook that suggested some mass event?
Only the person that wrote those notes could tell us. It seems like he was mulling, you know, he was going through his options for what exactly he wanted to pull, and that's why he made references to the Unabomber being a failure. That's why he made references to the headlines that he was hoping to generate here. I believe the headline that he came up with in the notebook was, quote, insurance CEO killed at annual investors conference. That's not too far off with what we all wrote about when the murder happened.
Okay, I may have overstated it when I said that the thing that I read at the top of our conversation was the most damning. This next thing actually might be the most damning because it kind of sounds like a confession to me. Let me read it. Allegedly, this is from the notebook according to the DA in Manhattan. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly, I wasn't working with anyone. This was fairly trivial. Some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, computer-aided design, a lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some straggling notes and to-do lists that illuminate the gist of it. Was there anything more to this so-called confession, or what looks like a confession?
Well, yes, there was, and this has actually been out in the press for quite some time now, and this is one of the reasons why the Manhattan DA said that this is, quote, an open and shut case, if they've ever seen one before. They said if ever there was an open and shut case pointing to defendant's guilt, this case is that case, and they alluded to that very seemingly a confession there.
Oof. I don't like his chances. Erik Uebelacker, great reporting. Come back to the show. Really love this. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Anytime.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.